Thank you. This is today's class. This is our today's topic is about colonialism in Africa. Before we have to going to before we going to the colonialism in Africa, we should have to discuss the last day's concepts in the concept of what slavery. But colonialism in Africa, what is the important features colonialism in Africa? Colonialism in Africa. This is the today's topic. But what do you remember about colonialism in Africa? Remember the last class? Slavery. Slavery was what? The capturing and selling of what? The person or enslaved peoples from different parts of the world. This is what? A slavery. A slavery for the sake of which purpose? The Europeans, especially the Portuguese and the Spain, were the main organizer of what? The main organizer of slavery. For the sake of what? For the sake of their sugarcane industry and cotton and tobacco and different industries in the new continent. The new continent is what? America. America is the new continent, by the way. Christopher Columbus discovered America, but he didn't know the area, the place, whether America or it's not. He thought as a West Indies or the East Indies, so the Indian peoples or the Indian continent. But Amerigo Vespucci, the Italian map maker or astronomer, correctly propounded the area. So this is slavery. This is what we call it, what Christopher Columbus discovered, but he didn't know. But Amerigo Vespucci, another Italian map maker, correctly gave the area, the place where the new continent is America. So today's topic is about colonialism in Africa. We should have to go this topic. 1884, 1884 up to 1885. This is the Berlin Conference. The Berlin Conference highly inspired those European countries to colonize what? To colonize Africans. Or, for example, England, South Africa, and Egypt. What about another? Kenya, Ghana, Zambia and Zimbabwe. That means Rhodesia. The southern one is Zimbabwe, Rhodesia, the ancient name, Zimbabwe and Zambia. This is the England continent, about 22 countries, the 22 countries in Africa, in our continent, Africa. So, what about the French? The French colonies in Africa, Mali, Niger, Senegal, and what? Mali, Niger, Senegal, Togo, Togo for Germany. What about the French? The French colony, Mali, Niger, Senegal, Tunisia and Morocco. Tunisia, Morocco, North African countries. All these are the countries that are those European nations discovered the African countries to what? For the sake of two reasons. There are two reasons or two major reasons to partition Africa in Berlin Conference in Germany. Two main reasons. The first one is what? The first one is what? For the sake of to get natural resources. For the sake of natural resources. Natural resources like what? Diamond, gold, silver, copper, and those natural resources, and petroleum, gas, palm oil, different natural resources existed in Africa. For the sake of natural resources, or to get those raw materials, the African peoples are very the core point for those African countries. What about the second one? For the sake of the new market, for their products, for the sake of new markets, for their products. This is another reason. And different. So the African countries are endowed for natural resources, or they are gifted for natural. Indirectly. What's the reason? And the French follow direct rule, that means assimilation policy. Because of this, socially affected assimilation policy highly affected what? The French assimilation policy, because those African countries in French, Mali, Niger, Senegal, and those African countries, what? They lost their what? Their language and the mixing of their language. Their language will become what? French language. Because of what? Because of assimilation policy. But the British directly ruled. For example, in those South African, in Uganda, and those African countries, Ghana, the British used by their own administrator or representatives. This is what we call it the nature of what we call it.